Hey, so apparently there's been a Gen Z revival going on, and even before the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was apparently a Gen Z revival going on with the higher church attendance. Charlie Kirk's assassination, I think that just amplified it. It accelerated the process, but there was already a revival from what I've heard. Now, um, as with a lot of these types of things, I'm going to be skeptical and I'm going to look at the data. I'm going to look at the available information and then, tell you what I think about it. So, I mean, it makes sense in a way why there would be a revival because we kind of live in this time with a lot of like social anxiety and Gen Z has a lot of that. Apparently, a lot of mental health issues, and the Democrats have been pushing their crazy, insane agenda, and the harder they push, the more people kind of start waking up and going like, "Whoa, that's kind of weird. You guys are crazy." And there's been sort of like a conservative revival, which then I guess kind of turns into a Christian revival in a way. And there have been a lot of young men actually part of this. You usually there's like a lot of girls and women in churches, but there hasn't been a lot of like kind of male attendance has been kind of weak the last few decades. I think there's been a bit of a revival, particularly among young males, and I think that's a great thing. That's really good. We get more guys in church that can lead families in the future. They are the future leaders. This is very important, actually. So there are some good things about it, and it makes sense why it proliferates so quickly because Gen Z's online, they're on TikTok, they're on YouTube, and this is one way to reach them. Another reason why this channel exists, I feel like YouTube is a great way to reach a lot of people, and that's why there's Christian TikTokers and all that, and some of the people on the more conservative end they might be against that, but I mean honestly, I don't care. Like as long as it's a way to reach people. The internet is very evil, and is responsible for a lot of mental illnesses, and has done a lot of harm. But it already exists. You're not Pandora's box has been unleashed. You are not going to put the internet back into a box. It's out. It's the damage has been done. So what can you do as a Christian? You can use it to the best of your ability. So that's why it's totally fine to make a YouTube channel. Totally fine to make TikTok videos, as long as a Christian, as long as they are in line with the Bible. That's it. Reach them wherever they need to be reached. Gen Z's online. That's how you reach them. Um, that's it. That's how you reach them. So you can get a big audience this way. That's not to say you can't go out witnessing in person. Obviously, that works too, if that's what you feel called to do. But the internet is a tool, and use it. Use it. And I think it's really bad if some of the more hyper conservative people think like, oh, you can't use the internet to reach people. I mean, no, you use whatever tools you have at your disposal. So this is a great way to reach Gen Z, and it shows because that is how the gospel is getting out to some of these people in Gen Z that would never show up to church. They would never read or open their Bible. But something on TikTok or on YouTube caught their attention, and some Christian caught their attention and uh, showed them something from the Bible or preached the gospel to them. And that would have never happened out in the real world. Um, so it is one way to reach them. So I think that might be why there is a bit of a Gen Z revival. Is they're looking for an answer. They have social anxiety, and online, amidst all the evil and perversion that can be found online, there are good Christian messages and good Christians trying to get out the gospel online, and they happen to hear it, and that gets them on the right track. So that's great that that there's the revival. My only concern is that where are those people in Gen Z going afterwards? Because unfortunately, um, people don't. care about the truth, and it's all about emotions. So even if they do happen to believe in Jesus, unfortunately, a lot of times their doctrine is going to get messed up. So they're not going to end up in like the correct church, and they will learn heresy and really become ineffective Christians. Unfortunately, this is what happens a lot. If Satan can't get you into hell and you get saved, the next best thing Satan's going to try to do is to get you to be an ineffective Christian. And he's very effective at that. Satan is very great at creating weak Christians and gets them on the wrong path. So, just when they're going to get saved, or if they get saved, Satan will send the Jehovah's Witnesses to you, or the Mormons, or the Catholics, and then you're just messed up. Like your Christianity's not going very far at that point. So unfortunately, like there's a revival, but where's Gen Z going? So it's mostly in the U.S. and U.K., and from what I've read, it's across the board. So this revival could be in the Pentecostal churches, it could be in Catholic churches, it could be in the evangelical churches. So yeah, people might be getting saved, but that might be it. Like their Christianity might not really grow very far. It'll just be some kind of shallow form of it. From what I've read, there's also been a revival in maybe the traditional Baptist churches, and like that's great. Like I'm all for that. Wherever you can get like the truth. So it's one thing to get saved, and I'm glad if this revival means people are getting saved. That's like the main thing, really. But I would like to see the next step is where we create strong Christians grounded in the Word. And that's my concern, because that hasn't really been happening for the last few decades. And in fact, if you study it out, America's been in backsliding free fall since the late 1800s. There's been over 100 years of backsliding and messed up biblical doctrine. So it's not a new thing. It's been in free fall for over 100 years. So I don't really have high expectations of people getting back to like actually like sola scriptura, like actually focusing on the Bible. And instead, people are going to get distracted by all sorts of shiny things, because that's what people are. They're emotional people, and they want a feeling of being high. They want like an emotional, spiritual high. And that's unfortunately what takes precedence over biblical accuracy almost all the time. So that's my only criticism of this. Like that's what I'm skeptical about, basically, of this whole revival thing. But I'm all for it if people are getting saved. So anyway, I'll see you next time.